This is a community-supported legal education channel. Find out how you can support our mission at the links in the description below. Hello everyone, I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and there is an update in the Akilah Hughes versus Sargon of Akkad, also known as Carl Benjamin. If you are not familiar with the story, it was kind of a big story over the last few years, and it only just recently mostly resolved. Akilah Hughes had made a video about Hillary Clinton's campaign and election night, and was very disappointed that Hillary did not win the 2016 election. And Sargon had used a portion of her video, had edited it, had not made any criticism or commentary by voice or text or anything over top of it, just a critical edit, and then published that. And she sued him over the alleged copyright infringement. And the court recently found that Sargon or Carl Benjamin's use of Akilah Hughes' video was a fair use, and that he did not commit any copyright infringement by making a fair use of her video. Now the parties are embroiled in a big dispute over how much money needs to be exchanged for the costs and attorney's fees for the winning party. So Sargon won, so his attorney and Sargon get to work on trying to collect the money that they spent on the defense. And there are factors. It's a legal test for whether and how much of those attorney's fees get paid. And so Ms. Hughes is opposed to paying I think it's $40,000 in attorney's fees or something like that. And Sargon and Wesley Mullen, his attorney, are aggressively seeking to recover as much of that as they can, saying that she pursued the case in bad faith. She knew that it was criticism and commentary. She knew that it was fair use. Well, I'll let them speak for themselves, because it's now been 2 months, or maybe even a little bit long. Is it June? It's June. Oh my God. It's been 3 months since the court ruled in favor of Carl Benjamin. So why hasn't the court issued a ruling on the fees and costs motion and given Carl Benjamin whatever money the court thinks that he's due? So now it's been 3 months, and so maybe the attorney wants to sort of prod the court a little bit, but you don't want to be rude, so you have to find some reason to prod the court a little bit. You can't just write and say, hey, judge, just following up on this, can you issue a ruling, please? No, it does not work that way. But maybe you could find something that has happened in between, and wouldn't you know it, Akilah Hughes handed Carl Benjamin that something in between that they needed. Let's take a look at what Attorney Mullen and Carl Benjamin write, and then we'll take a look at what Akilah Hughes wrote, because I also have some comments on what she wrote, which is about the DMCA and YouTube and all that. So this is the June 11th letter from Wesley Mullen, who is Sargon's attorney, to Judge Richard Sullivan, and he writes, Your Honor, I represent defendant Carl Benjamin in the captioned copyright action, so Hughes v. Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin's motion for an award of attorney's fees and costs under 17 U.S.C. 505 and the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure is fully submitted. I write briefly to apprise the court of new developments that justify granting the requested relief. The court dismissed with prejudice plaintiff's meritless copyright claims. Defendant's motion seeks a reasonable attorney's fee to the prevailing party under the Copyright Act. The requested award is especially warranted in this case because, among other things, plaintiff's improper motives are contrary to the purposes of copyright. Plaintiff sued not because of the inherent merit of her claims, but out of a conspicuous desire to silence defendant's criticism while promoting her own YouTube channel, book, and personal celebrity. The opposition contends incorrectly that motive is irrelevant. It also characterizes plaintiff's use of the lawsuit for publicity as mere heat-of-the-moment banter. But plaintiff continues to flog this lawsuit to her fans. Her recent conduct further demonstrates improper motive, and it further justifies the requested award. On June 3, 2020, plaintiff tweeted to her hundreds of thousands of followers that the guy I sued for re-uploading my content, defendant Mr. Benjamin, made threats The allegation is false, says Attorney Mullen. The same tweet publishes portions of what plaintiff describes as her email to YouTube, arguing that YouTube should ban defendant's content because defendant has opinions that plaintiff considers offensive. We will take a look at these tweets in just a moment. In another tweet published the same day, plaintiff claims she had to sue Mr. Benjamin, but lost the case because YouTube won't take a stand. An embedded email from plaintiff to YouTube argues that YouTube is fully complicit in the moment we are in because YouTube thinks defendant's content should stay up. These tweets are yet more evidence of plaintiff's misuse of this lawsuit for publicity and as part of her effort to deplatform Mr. Benjamin. They also refute the opposition's attempt to minimize plaintiff's conduct as an inconsequential mistake made in the heat of the moment. Plaintiff continues to brandish this lawsuit as a weapon in her attack on an ideological opponent that she sued for ideological reasons. Plaintiff continues to hawk the case in a social media celebrity advertisement aimed at her fans and followers. Plaintiff's conduct in this litigation is contrary to the Copyright Act's purpose of enriching the public through access to creative works. Directly contrary, plaintiff is attempting to use copyright for the improper purpose of silencing critical speech. The court dismissed plaintiff's strategic claims. Mr. Benjamin's defense was efficient, but not costless. For the reasons stated above, the court should grant the motion and award to defendant a reasonable fee. Respectfully submitted, Wesley Mullen. And then there are some tags to various tweets. So let's take a look at those tweets. On June 3rd, 2020, at 4:22 p.m., Akilah Hughes writes, "Got a message from YouTube about some actions they want to take to support Black creators. Here's my response to that. Susan Wojcicki, what's good?" And then here's the letter that she wrote. "Hi there, hope you're doing okay in spite of it all. We def need to talk. This is all great and thank you for reaching out to me regarding this, but until YouTube commits to ridding the site of supremacists and their communities, we will continue to have desensitized white people killing us." Sorry, this is uncomfortable to read. "I had to sue a creator for re-uploading my work because that's the policy at YouTube," she says. "And not only did his 4chan community ruin my life and attack me professionally for the past 4 years, but I lost the case because fair use on the internet is so ill-defined. So I lost 40K and had to stop making videos on YouTube because the platform won't take a stand. Patreon deleted his account immediately upon viewing his content, losing him 8K a month. But YouTube thinks this should stay up. Giving us a corner of the site is overdue. It's not justice. Dealing with this head-on is justice. Black Lives Matter enough to silence white supremacy on YouTube. YouTube is fully complicit in the moment we are in. Run that up to Susan." Yeah, I have some issues with this. I have no problem with any platform deciding who is allowed to be on the platform and not. I mostly just want them to apply their policies equally. But that's just my personal position. She says that the policy at YouTube is that she had to sue the creator for re-uploading her work. However, that's not actually the policy at YouTube. That's the policy in the law. 17 U.S.C. 512 is the notice and takedown part of the DMCA. And YouTube doesn't have the right to exist. At least it wouldn't have. If they didn't have the DMCA, YouTube would be sued into oblivion for copyright infringement that was committed by the users of the site. So Congress created the DMCA, which we all know has its flaws, but it also has its benefits. And if you took away the DMCA, YouTube and sites like it could not exist. So it's not that YouTube has a policy that Akilah Hughes must sue Carl Benjamin. It's that the law says YouTube must tell Akilah Hughes to sue Carl Benjamin. When she issues a takedown notice, which is this part C, for information on systems or networks residing at the direction of the user, it says this: "A service provider shall not be liable for monetary relief except for an injunction," which is not monetary relief, for infringement of copyright by reason of the storage at the direction of a user of material that resides on a system or network controlled or operated by the service provider. If the service provider does not have actual knowledge, red flag knowledge, or doesn't remove the material upon obtaining such knowledge. So that then is where we get the designated agent who receives a DMCA notification, which must identify the work, giving them the red flag knowledge to remove the material or disable access to the material. So then what happens next, though, is not YouTube. What happens next is the law. YouTube, must replace or remove the disabled material when they receive a counter notification, which looks suspiciously like the original DMCA takedown notification. And when that is obeyed, the service provider continues to be immune to liability for copyright infringement. So when Akilah Hughes says that's the policy at YouTube, she's incorrect. It's maybe technically correct that YouTube has adopted the policy because the federal law says they have to. I mean, they could choose to operate outside of the law, but they don't. They choose to operate within the law, and the law says that it's the law's policy that you must reinstate the work. Now, I don't know if Carl Benjamin has a 4chan community, but I didn't know that he did, so I would be surprised if he has a 4chan community. I think she's calling his community a name. I think it's an ad hominem attack, that it's no better than 4chan. She says that she had to sue him, but she lost the case. So she's making it sound like she had no choice. I think she had a choice, and I think that's the entire argument of Attorney Mullen and Carl Benjamin on the attorney's fees motion, is that she didn't have to sue them. She apparently was successful in deplatforming him from Patreon, or at least notes that he was deplatformed from Patreon. Okay. But YouTube thinks this should stay up. I don't know. YouTube doesn't seem to have the same level of discrimination that Patreon does. I mean, people left Patreon. We literally started Sponsus.com because people were upset with Patreon taking a political side. Like, YouTube is apparently not taking as strong a political side as Patreon is. Okay. Giving us a corner of the site. Okay, so they're going to give them a category or a page or something, and she's rejecting it, saying it's not justice. Okay, she wants it dealt with head on, which means silence white supremacy. Okay, however, I've listened to some of Sargon's things, and if he is a white supremacist, I haven't heard it. I think he just has political views that are different. I disagree with white supremacy. I don't think any one race is supreme or anything like that. But I didn't hear Sargon say that. But my mind could be changed if I saw anything. On the other hand, what I see is Akilah Hughes saying things that are definitely not true about my copyright law, which is not to say it's my copyright law, it's to say it's my favorite law. So it's my favorite law, copyright law, my copyright law. She's saying things that aren't true about the law that I love, so I'm a little bit offended there. Now that's fine. I guess she knows that I'm offended because she has blocked me, and I've had to access her tweets through, logging out, basically. And then she goes on to make this statement, which was part of Attorney Mullen's update. The guy I sued for re-uploading my content, yeah, he made threats against his opponent in a political race in the UK. Okay, so not threats against Akilah Hughes. He lost. YouTube believes they should leave his channel up. She's really on this message. My email to YouTube about this one is on the right. I'm done being quiet. Of course, you might have seen in here, I think they said that the statements are not true. This allegation is false, they say. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to comment on whether it's true or false. I'll leave that to the reader. The racism wasn't enough to get rid of Milo, so now, guilt by association, I guess. I don't even know what Sargon association with Milo is. YouTube waited until it became something to do with children. I don't know what's going on there. Because of them, racism isn't also bad. Isn't also sinister, doesn't hurt black children or black I mean, I think she's being really hyperbolic here. I think no one is saying that YouTube endorses racism, thinks it's not bad, thinks it's not sinister. I think she's mad about something. And then she says, why haven't any YouTube engineers resigned? Y'all really saying Facebook has more integrity? I don't know how she thinks Facebook has integrity versus YouTube, or why any YouTube engineers have to resign. I think that woefully misunderstands what say the engineers have in all of this. I'm pretty sure that YouTube's leadership makes these decisions, not the engineers. And then she says, ask me how many hours on the phone, how many countries I've traveled to, Zoom calls and conferences and emails and petitions, and I've had to do to convey to YouTube what the obvious solution is. I mean, every Twitter, or even Twitter, deleted their accounts, but YouTube, and then there's a poll, is cowardly, is racist, is complicit. It's obviously a pretty one-sided poll. So yeah, it sounds like she's really upset that the world doesn't work the way that she wants it to. I mean, I'm even, like, I lean politically Democratic. I'm a registered Democrat right now just because of the primaries, and then I'll be re-registering as an independent here very shortly. But I lean Democratic. I'm a Second Amendment Democrat, so there's my biases. I don't know what that means. I was raised Republican, listened to Rush Limbaugh and G. Gordon Liddy, and then eventually Glenn Beck. And then my political views changed a little bit. And I mostly went from slightly right of center to slightly left of center now. And as a person who is of the same binary side of the aisle as Akilah Hughes, I can tell you this is over the top. This is too much. This gives Democrats a bad name. People have to be allowed to exist. And even if I disagree with Sargon's political opinions, which I don't even really know what his political opinions are. I really only listened to a couple of his videos. People need to be allowed to exist. If he's not violating YouTube's policies, then YouTube doesn't have to remove him. Akilah can go start her own media company, form a media empire, and ban Sargon from it all she wants. She can have a ban Sargon ceremony every day. And nobody can stop her. She's allowed to prevent him from accessing her platform. So if Patreon deplatformed Sargon and YouTube didn't, that's just how the world worked. I guess she's trying to influence that, which is a little disingenuous because I don't see people going after her like she's going after them. And I don't think that they did anything wrong. I think she's the one who did something wrong going after Sargon for making a critical video. But let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I'll get off my high horse and my soapbox and just try to report the news. So that's our show. Thanks for joining me. I am Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and this is Lawful Masses, your favorite legal news and education channel. We exist because of our supporters at patreon.com/ljfrench and sponsors.com/law, and Floatplane and YouTube memberships. Thank you to the $50 plus supporters in the month of June: Joe Tyson, Wes Delj, Citizen of the Sovereign, John Steele, Gavin Barnard, Eevi, Kyle Mudrak, Spirit Bear, Jan Negrey, Michael Pearce, Daniel Perez, Blackleaf, Benjamin Hitov, Steven, Ottah, Cute Grills in your area, Longreach Jones, Definitely Not Prenda Law, Ugly Grill, Shielo T, Josh Baker, Gregory, Rudolph Bescherer Jr., Kristian Hellman, Jay Dixon, Ameknight, and Oscar the Phrophet. And thank you to the $5 plus supporters scrolling on the LED panel next to me and the crawl in front of me, and you'll all appear in the description of the videos below. I love you all. I'll see you in the videos that drop. We'll have an update for this one when the judge finally makes a decision or whenever the next thing happens. See you later. Bye. His nose under the water. Now we're cold. Oh, whoa. I'm getting out of the way. You're very wet. You're very wet. No, I love you. Please stop following me. You're very wet. Yeah, see, you need to be perpendicular to the shake zone. Yeah. Hopefully I won't be.
We're planning on that.
Let me see your shirt again. That's funny.